believe it or not, looks like everything is ready. I'll come back and double check that. That's good. That's live. That's live. I'm live. All right. Let me expand this a little bit. Bring that down so I can see the comments as they come in a little bit better. Okay. Close that. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. In the news tonight, Ingenuity makes a historic flight on Mars. Facebook says go ahead and work from home forever. U.S. banks deploy artificial intelligence to, yes, spy on you. And Amazon hitches a ride on Atlas. I want to welcome you to episode 1522 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, April 19th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. For all the new listeners, thank you for being here. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Visit the website when you're over there. Get subscribed to the podcast and, of course, subscribe to the newsletter as well. And definitely check out all of our partner shows linked at the top of the website. It's a great way to get connected. Of course, you can join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's always an opportunity. Or on our Discord channel, that link's in the show notes. You can always add yourself to our Slack channel as well by dropping me an email, geeknews@gmail.com, and ask to be part of the Slack family. Of course, that's an email address that you can use to send comments on this show as well. Of course, you can reach me on Twitter at Geek News or follow me on Facebook. Of course, all our partner shows, again, are linked at the top of geeknewscentral.com, and all of this would not be possible without the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. They want to make sure that you save lots of money, again, by going to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, where you can lock in great, great deals. And really, this is as good as it gets when it comes to online services, comes to getting domain names, comes to getting a discount on products and services over there. So what I've got is I got a 30% discount code for you that are all of you that are already GoDaddy customers. You can use that. And in fact, I get paid nothing when you use that code. That code is just a bonus there for you to use. But the 499.com or newer transfer domains, hey, you can use that as well. And of course, my hosting deals are really where it's at. Whether it's an economy hosting for the first year, again, and I'll say this very carefully, $1 a month. Economy hosting for the first year includes a free domain, or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again, with a free domain. Those are the two best deals, absolutely, unequivocally on the internet. Go find one better. I dare you. $1 a month economy hosting for the first year includes a free domain. $1 a month managed WordPress hosting first year, the free domain. So basically, you're paying $3.50 because a normal domain name that's not for a brand new customer is $8.49. So you becoming a customer, you can get that 499.com on one new or transfer domain, or you can do that and then get that $1 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain. $12 gets you going. Of course, that free trial GoDaddy website builder, your choice of business, personal business and business plus plans, those are available as well. We want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. The podcast really, it allows me to do what I do. Paid the rent a couple days ago, actually a couple of weeks ago. I know that the insurance bill's coming due. Of course, I got to be able to feed the cats. Yeah, that. They seem to like to eat cat food, so they just can't drink water. It's an interesting thing about animals. But anyway, I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here, and I want to thank all of you that continue to support the sponsor and buy products and services. Hi, Toby. How are you? Thanks for checking in on Facebook. Hi, Liz. Good evening as well. Any of you that are on Facebook, make sure you say hello. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, please reply and say hello. We definitely appreciate it when you do. It always helps me stay motivated when you guys watch live and when you comment and make mayhem during the show. So we don't want to under report. We want to remind everyone this studio is designed by our good friends at Audimute, AUDIMUTE.com. Matter of fact, been having an email exchange with Kevin over there to get some replacement panels here. As a matter of fact, the cats are getting an upgrade. They're getting a very, very expensive upgrade to cat scratchers. Now, I'm going to take these ones that they have damaged and take them into the kitchen area and mount them. And then I'm going to take means to protect the new ones I install. So if they decide they want to come back to the same spot, they're going to be met with, how should we say it? Not a way to do what they've done again, but they're going to have the most expensive cat scratchers known to man out in my kitchen. So anyway, but this weekend, wow, I'm still tired. I got a crazy amount of work done. There was like a list, and it isn't finished. At some point in the next week or so, more chainsaw work and all kinds of stuff back in the field. So if it isn't one thing, it's another. And I still want to build a camp, so that's on my list of things to do. So the weekends just aren't long enough. Let's make it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That might help. But having my full Saturday back was amazing. It really made my Saturday very, 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 very productive. Not to mention, I've got product reviews that are due. I've got 4 or 5 products that have come in that I'm going to do reviews on. And but today, spent a lot of time doing website maintenance, doing a lot of things that I had to take care of with blueberry.com. It's just, menial work that needed to be done. And I got that knocked out mostly. Probably this will be, we're marching towards, Google's making a big change on May 1st. And just need to have everything completely ready for some of the new things they're introducing so we don't get hammered in the search stack. So it's a big deal, so it had to get done. But anyway, the Red Bull night tonight for me here. I've got a good lineup of stuff. I mean, it's a very interesting stack of content tonight. So some stuff to spend some time on. But first of all, to my non-sponsor, Red Bull, let me finish this can off. Okay. I know. I can hear the emails already. Find me something that is suitable. Yes, I know. Exercise. Find me something suitable that I like to drink that doesn't like whack me completely. But anyway, hey, let's go ahead and move on. First article, man, congratulations to NASA, JPL, everyone for the flight. NASA's Mars helicopter Ingenuity pulled off its first flight. Another planet. There's a little bit of a GIF running. It flew for 30 seconds and took off, hovered, flew about 10 feet in the air, took a picture, did a data transfer, a couple of things, and landed and didn't tip over, didn't crash. This is big, 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 big news. Now, defeat took place at 12:30 a.m. Pacific time on Monday morning, but it wasn't until over 3 hours later that NASA engineers at GPL received the first data from Mars. The first flight of Ingenuity is really an impressive milestone in space exploration. They've got, a matter of fact, the FAA has given them a landing strip designation. They've made a designation for the helicopter, really kind of more of a, I guess for a better word, some fun here in the midst of all this craziness. But this is a big deal. And this paves the way for future flights on the Red Planet. Learning to fly on Earth was difficult, but flying on Mars was really grand engineering. You think about how far we have come from our Wright brothers moment. Now, some of you overseas, you will say the Wright brothers were not first, and I will let you guys go ahead and battle that out amongst yourselves, but at least here in the United States, the Wright brothers were first. And this is a Wright brothers moment on Mars. So we can now say that humans have flown a rotorcraft on another planet. Now, of course, Ingenuity was not controlled by engineers on Earth. Instead, commands were uploaded spacecraft that took it from pre-flight checks to powered flight in a matter of seconds. The rotor blade spun up to 2,537 RPM, about 6 times faster than any Earth-based craft. 6 seconds after startup, Ingenuity's blades were able to generate lift by slicing through the atmosphere. 2 images were released of Ingenuity in flight, one showing the shadow of a rotorcraft on the surface of Mars, and one captured from the side by the Mars rover. And let's see if I can do this without getting banned here. Let me see if I can I stream ahead? So we'll see if we can watch this with the I got to be careful here. I'm going to get a copyright strike, even though this is a NASA. Anyway, you guys can see it. Go watch the video. Watch the team cheer. And, of course, this thing could have tipped over. It could have smashed. But it's been almost 120 years since Orville and Wilbur Wright got their experimental plane off the ground near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, documenting a famous black and white image of the flyer taken just moments after it left the ground. So, very, very exciting stuff. Congratulations, NASA. And I think for the geeks out there, I think we all are a little giddy today. That we knew this was potential. And think about this. We send the rover from Earth, basically retro rocket to the ground. A few days later, you drop the helicopter. You pull out from underneath it. And then, a couple weeks later, you fly it. You just gotta applaud, right? You just gotta be happy for this moment. It's really a big deal. Now, we have to keep an eye on Boca Chica because Elon Musk hasn't had a lot of success in landing his new big rocket. But BN-15 is probably going to fly sometimes this week with lots of upgrades. I think it was 11 or BN-11 that blew up on landing. They had a major malfunction. This thing just disintegrated. But if you've been watching on YouTube or anything about what Musk is trying to do out in Boca Chica and being able to have us in a basically a highly reusable launch system. And in fact, NASA just awarded SpaceX a contract to put us back on the moon. $1 billion contract. Fixed price contract. Good for NASA. Good job on that money. Fixed price product. So we'll see what Elon and company does, but BN-15 is a big, big deal. And hopefully it'll land on its 4 legs and not go boom. But this thing gets up to altitude. It flies in on wings. It gets to a certain point in altitude, and it basically relights, kicks itself straight, and lands. Now, this is not Dragon. This is not the Dragon. This is a whole different animal. And if you're not paying attention to it, definitely just Google or go on YouTube and just, Google SpaceX Boca Chica, and you're gonna find lots of cool videos. Most of explosive stuff, but this week I think we're gonna maybe, knock on wood, see if the SpaceX team can pull off a big feat. And what they've got planned, if you're not following, I guess maybe we should take some time on a show and talk about it. Matter of fact, Kirk, keep an eye out for those types of articles because the whole landing system that they're going to come up with is going to be pretty incredible too. All right, moving on from space news. Facebook says our staff can carry on working from home after COVID. People in eligible roles at Facebook can apply for permanent remote working subject to approval from managers. Last May, Facebook boss Zuckerberg predicted 50% of the company's employees could be working remotely within the next 5 to 10 years. At Blueberry, my company, we've decided to start, we've got a plan, and we're going to start populating the office on May 1st. We're going to start bringing team members back, and I won't go into the details of what we put out. That's probably company confidential, but bringing team members back and getting them in the saddle, and I'm excited about that. It's just more collaboration, and so, but Facebook, they're going a different, well, for some of their workers, they're going a different approach. So what's your company doing? I'd love to hear from you on what your company is doing. Hey, U.S. banks are deploying artificial intelligence to monitor customers working amid tech backlash. Now, I read this. I'm like, U.S. banks deploy artificial intelligence to monitor customers, workers amid tech backlash. In other words, people are kind of pissed off at tech companies, right? Not that they're pissed off at their banks. So several U.S. banks started deploying camera software that can analyze customer preferences, monitor workers, and spot people sleeping near ATMs, even as they remain worried about possible backlash over increased surveillance, more than a dozen banking and technology sources told Reuters. Previously, on reported trials at City National Bank of Florida, J.P. Morgan Chase, as well as earlier rollouts at banks at Wells Fargo, offer a rare view into the potential U.S. financial institutions seeing facial recognition. Bobby Dominguez, Chief Information Security Officer at City National, said smartphones that unlock via face scan have paved the way. We've already leveraging facial recognition on mobile, he said. Why not leverage it in the real world? City National began facial recognition trials early next month to identify customers at teller machines and employees at branches, aiming to replace clunky and less secure authentication measure at its 31 sites. And he said the software could spot people on government watch list, criminals. J.P. Morgan said it's conducting a small test of video analytics technology with a handful of branches in Ohio. Wells Fargo said it works to prevent fraud, but declined to discuss how. Lots of civil liberties concerned there, but we know in Portland, Oregon, as of January 1st, banned businesses from using facial recognition in places of public accommodation. And drugstore chain Rite Aid Corp. Shut a nationwide face recognition program down last year. He says, Dominguez says, we're never going to compromise our clients' privacy. We're getting off to an early start on tech, already used in other parts of the world, and is rapidly coming to American banking network. Still, the big question among banks, Frederick Nielsen, Vice President of America at Axis Communications, a top maker of surveillance camera, is what will be the potential backlash from the public if we roll this out? Walter Connors, Chief CIO Officer at Brandon Bank, said Florida, and I know about that. I know this bank. I think my daughter does business with them. Said the Florida company had discussed but not adopted the technology for its 12 locations. Anybody walking into a branch expects to be recorded, which is true. You're on candid camera there. But when you're talking about face recognition, that's a larger conversation. So anyway, this goes on and on and on and on. So what do you think about your bank taking your picture and identifying you and logging you when you walk into your bank or near an ATM? Interesting thought process on that one, isn't it? Amazon's first Cooper, Amazon's first Cooper, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Someone in the audience is going to instruct me on the correct pronunciation. But Amazon's first Project Cooper Internet satellites will launch aboard Atlas V rockets. So they bought 9 launches. But, Amazon's got a little bit of a problem. They need a lot of lifts. A lot. Because the FCC granted company approval of their launch, of their satellite plan. It agreed to put half the satellites in orbit by 2026. and the entire constellation by 2029. Well, that's only 5 years from now, and Amazon is got to get busy. So they're buying lifts. Of course, Atlas V, well in service for a long time, having a 100% success rate since 2007. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how many satellites it can put in one of those Atlas V's. But with Elon doing what he is doing, if he gets his big lift capacity in place for what he wants to lift, lifting a measly 60 satellites is going to be, he can probably be able to launch 300 or 400 at a time with his new platform. And they've got some orbital stuff that they got to do soon. Now, of course, it's just up and back is what they're going to do shortly, testing heat shields and some other stuff. But it could be another year, and Elon might be ready to put satellites in orbit with his big lift system. So they're being very, very aggressive. All right, GameStop CEO George Sherman, of course, GameStop's been in the news about the stock situation. He's going to step down in July, and they're on the search for a new CEO. GameStop, is one of those businesses they're barely hanging on. There's a GameStop, matter of fact, right across the street. Never seen anybody in it. They are going to try to pivot. And they got some cash to do it now by some of the stock that they sold. So we'll see what happens here with GameStop and what kind of a company they become. And hopefully they're not a one-trick pony anymore. All right, over at makeuseof.com, Kirk found a couple of very interesting articles, and I've got a reference on a couple of these. The 5 best calling apps for making free phone calls. Number 1, Talkatone, the best free calling app. I guess it's been around a while. It's most well known for free U.S. calling apps on the list. It's gone through a lot of changes. It offers unlimited free calls and text to any number in the United States and Canada. You can also buy credits to make international calls. Number 2 is Text Now. And here's the thing I know about Text Now. It's used by a huge, huge number of scammers. And Text Now used to operate a subscription model. You had to pay $3 per month to retain your number and access features like voicemail. Today, that's not the case. The app is free to use and lets you make calls within the United States without restriction. You can remove ads if you're willing to pay. But this one, Text Now, is really big on scammers. Basically, you can do calls and text. You can't do video chat or anything like that. So if you ever try to video chat with someone to confirm their identity and they can't video chat because they say their mobile phone camera is broken, you can almost be guaranteed they're probably using Text Now or one of these services. But it is viable for people wanting to use it for viable usage. Free Tone, text me up, text me, make free phone. What? Free Tone. Well, this is weird. It's called Free Tone, Text Me Up, and Text Me are all the same free phone number app with different color schemes. Then there's Text Plus. It's a solid international calling app. And you can make calls internationally for a couple of pennies a minute. Ding Tone is another one that's out there. So great way to make phone calls digitally when you travel as well using a VPN. Along with that is another article over at makeuseof.com. They are on the same theme here. The 5 best apps for a temporary burner phone number. Need to stay hidden? These fake number apps let you generate a burner number so you keep your real phone number private. So why use a burner app? Well, online dating. People are having trouble with stalkers. When buying or selling something on Craigslist. If you're job hunting. Perhaps you're moving to a different area or a different country. You may want to pick up a local number before you move. If your job requires you to be on call or you run your own business, you want a dedicated number that you know to answer professionally. So you can, it's kind of cool. You can call forward it to your regular mobile phone. If someone is monitoring calls and texts, like an abusive parent or partner, you can reach out for help using a number they don't have access to. So number one is, it's called Burner. It's an Android app. Number two is Hushed. And Hushed is much like Burner, but it has numbers for 40 countries and works from many, many more. It uses voice over IP. What else? Cover Me is another one. Cover Me puts an emphasis on privacy as well as hiding your number. It allows you to make what it calls military-grade encryption phone calls and store sensitive documents in its impenetratable private vault. There's nothing that is that good. Line 2 is a business-oriented app. Sideline is another. So again, these are burner apps. Get a burner number without having a burner phone. Pretty slick, huh? And there is an app for that. Google I cannot speak tonight. Google celebrates the first atmospheric extraterrestrial flight with Ingenuity Mars helicopter Easter egg. So all you got to do is go to the search page for Ingenuity Mars helicopter. And when searching Ingenuity, the interactive model of the helicopter will fly around your computer screen. And so a little fun there. I wonder if I can get it to work here. Let me get this set up. And those of you that are watching, let me open a new tab. Let's see where I'm at. All right, get that right. We'll go to google.com. And we'll bring up the browser. And I will... Come on, what's going on here? I think I'm doing this. Page is not letting me type anything into it. Why is that? All right, we'll do it at the top. What is going on? It says, wait, Google page is unresponsive. Usually that's a Chrome thing. When this happens, it's okay. Oh, my goodness. So now it just cut loose. There was something in, it's not Google. There was something that was going on with the browser. All right, let me hit this again. Now let me try it. What does it do? Okay, there's really, now I had to click on the helicopter. And it's flying around the screen. So that's kind of cool. All right. But it didn't happen automatically. I had to make it. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop it. There it goes. It landed. So that's kind of cool. All right. Well, that was worth the pain of getting there. So again, congratulations, NASA. Verizon C-band strategy shows the strength of T-Mobile's 2.5 gig spectrum. And basically, T-Mobile bought in a spectrum that's being easier to deploy in right now. Verizon bought into a spectrum that is requiring them to have to wait. They can get things ready, but some of the spectrum isn't going to be open and available to use until 2023. So this is a very interesting development. They're all making bragging rights, but I think T-Mobile is going to get to market a little quicker. Very sadly, two knuckleheads who are now dead, sadly, appear to have tested the Tesla self-driving mode with no one in the driver's seat. You know, there's a reason, and they were two men, two married men, age 59 and 69. This is part of the reason why. You ever seen those videos where guys are standing on a ladder, or standing on a ladder that's on a scaffolding, or doing things that you just look at and go, yeah, that can end very badly. There's a reason why there are a lot of women in nursing homes, because guys seem to always do stupid things. This crash took place at 9 p.m. local time in Spring, Texas. In Houston, investigators are 100% certain that no one was in the driver's seat at the time of the crash. Minutes before the crash, the wives of the men were said to overhear them talking about the autopilot feature of the vehicle, which was a 2019 Tesla Model S. Now, get this. Elon Musk, in a tweet criticizing the Wall Street Journal story of the crash, Tesla CEO Elon Musk claimed that data logs recovered so far indicate the autopilot was not engaged, nor, listen to this, had the vehicle owner purchased the company's full self-driving option that may have allowed the use of the autopilot on local roads. This car crashed into a tree. So I guess you can buy upgrades. I don't know how this works. Someone that's a Tesla owner can tell me. But all right, you got your buddy in the car. You say, hey, look, you hold my beer, right? Hopefully he's not drinking while driving. But one of those moments, don't you start the autopilot and let it run and let your buddy watch it while you're in the driver's seat? My car has lane centering, and it does an okay job, but you don't dare let go of the steering wheel because it has a tendency to run home to mama when the lines aren't perfect and things. You have to watch it. It helps. It makes it easier to drive the vehicle. But I can take my hand off the wheel for like 10 seconds. But then about 15 seconds, it starts beeping at me to let me know my hand's not on the wheel anymore. So the question is, how long can you have your hands off the wheel in autopilot mode before the car starts beeping at you? Apparently quite a bit of time. But it appears these folks were going pretty quick, too, when this happened. So, but I don't understand. Standard autopilot would require lane lines to turn on, which this street did not have. Lane lines, my car has got to have lane lines, right and left. And if there isn't ... on exits, and it's just they haven't done that, the car will try to take the exit. So, I feel sorry for the wise, but why do fellas do these things? Faraday Future, moving on here. Faraday Future was investigated by the Department of Labor in 2020. Don't know what, but apparently they were previously inspected by the Department of Homeland Security, Citizenship and Immigration Service Division. So maybe they had some folks working that weren't fully documented. But apparently they've made whatever problem go away. So anyway, a little bit of trouble with them. There's some stuff with their founder as well that where he's off in China someplace. And, he's now in California, self-exiling himself from China because he's on a blacklist in China. So he might get rolled up if he ever goes home. So, anyway, there's a whole story about them. I don't think I'd buy one of their car. They're probably very, very financially at risk. A company called Allen has raised $220 million for health insurance and healthcare super app. This French startup has raised a $220 million funding round at $1.67 billion evaluation. Allen is building health insurance product from scratch. So the company now covers 160,000 people. Overall, Allen generates 100 million euros in annualized revenue, while most of its revenue is spent back on claims, an impressive revenue trajectory. So they got a big influx of cash to grow bigger. Millions of web surfers are being targeted by a single malvertising group. This is a good article about hackers and how they're taking over ad servers and so forth. Specifically, ad servers running Revive. Revive's an open source app for organizations who want to run their own ad server rather than relying on third-party services. Now, I run an ad server. I'm not saying who. It's not Revive. But when you see banner ads being displayed on Geek News Central, it's being served by an ad server. Or my GoDaddy ads in rotation. But those can be blocked if you're running a ad blocker. So please turn your ad blocker off on Geek News Central. Maybe you didn't even know they were there. But apparently this hack's been pretty bad. Tens of millions of fake ads have been served. Ads mostly lure targets to an app store listing for fake security, safety, or VPN apps with hidden subscription costs or siphon off traffic for nefarious ends. So just be careful what you click out there, okay? Facebook somehow is now going to let you transfer posts to Google Docs and WordPress. The company's data portability policy is doing that. I don't know what type of a... See, you used to be able... I've got this turned off because it's a security risk, but you used to be able to use an app to be able to publish articles in WordPress. Same thing for Blogger. You could authenticate and post stuff over, but it's always been notoriously weak. So I don't know how they're going to do this. I'm sure they're probably using that API call. I don't like using that, but I don't put stuff on Facebook I would necessarily put on my WordPress site either. So anyway, I'll play with it once it comes out. We'll see what it does over time. Some of you may be interested in this. Some of you may not. The union, specifically the RWDSU, says Amazon interfered with the Alabama warehouse vote. And I think we reported on here that the unionization vote failed. But the RWDSU filed a list of 23 objections late last week. And this is what it is. The Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union on April 9th, where nearly two-thirds of the facility's workers chose not to join. However, the union argues Amazon the vote because it interfered with the rights of its employees to vote in a free and fair election. And they've listed 23 objections in total, which allege, among other things, that Amazon had a ballot collection box installed in an employee parking lot without authorization. And they said that ballot box was in full view of Amazon security cameras. And they just went on with a whole bunch of objections. So they're not happy. And, I understand a little bit what's going on here. It's this cat and mouse game that companies play when they don't want to become unionized. So, but pretty big loss on that front. Looked like they were in there at some point. MasterCard buys digital identity firm Ekata for $850 million. The move will bolster MasterCard's digital identity and security platform framework. Ekata's application programming interfaces and tools are used by merchants, marketplace, and financial firms across multiple industries. Ekata's platform provides artificial intelligence, enhanced risk scoring, indicators, and data attributes. So this purchase will also bolster MasterCard's digital identity and security framework. So anyway, $850 million on that one. A big, big buy. Of course, I guess Trump change for MasterCard. Apple, listen to this. I was shocked when I saw this today. So what's it been? January, February, March, April. A little over 4 months. Apple is going to allow Parler back into the App Store. Proposed updates to the app and moderation practices were sufficient enough for Apple. So Apple wrote in a letter to Congress, the updates proposed for better detection and moderation of hate speech and violent rhetoric were sufficient. As a result of conversations that Parler had, Parler's proposed updates to its app and the app's content moderation practices. The app's review team has informed Parler as of April 14th that its proposed update app will be approved for reinstatement. Apple did send a letter to Senator Mike Lee and Representative Ken Buck, who asked Apple on March 31st for details on why it booted Parler. It said the app review team found a significant number of posts on the Parler app that clearly violated Guideline 1.1.1. So we'll see what happens here with this. We'll see what happens, but Parler may be coming back to the App Store. Reddit Talk is a Clubhouse competitor. Reddit Talk is a Clubhouse competitor for subreddits. Mods can sign up now to get on the wait list. How many of you use Reddit? I rarely over there. Every once in a while, someone posts something in the podcast forum that I have to respond to. I've got monitoring software that looks for keywords, but I'm very rarely on Reddit. But Reddit joins Twitter, Slack, Discord, LinkedIn, and Spotify in announcing a social audio feature. Social audio for everyone. Meanwhile, Clubhouse got some more money. I think we already talked about that. Facebook will remove calls for violence in preparation for Derek Chauvin verdict. I guess the jury went to deliberations this afternoon. And so Facebook says it's doing what we can to prepare. The company claims it's working around the clock to identify potential threats on and off its platform. Specifically, it will remove posts and events that call on people to bring arms to Minneapolis and says it would deem other places as high-risk locations. Depending on how the situation develops, public officials in cities like New York and Los Angeles anticipate there'll be protests once the jury announces its verdict one way or the other. So we will see what happens. Facebook and Spotify will team up on Project Boombox, and apparently this may bring podcasting to Facebook in an easier method. I'm not necessarily pleased with the integration partner here, but that podcast integration would be powered by Spotify. Lovely. I would much rather have you listen to this show on Facebook than listen on Spotify, to be honest with you. But if it's, I wonder how it's going to be reported. A source close to the streaming company tells Engadget that the new audio player will support both music and podcasts, and there will be options available to paid subscribers as well as free users. The new player could launch sooner than Facebook's other audio feature, which are still months away. That's an interesting move. Could Facebook end up buying Spotify? That's a very big partnership on something Facebook could do on their own. We will see. How many of you want to listen to music or podcasts while you're surfing Facebook? It's kind of like having Spotify integration in Waze. I don't understand that. Why would you just run the app separately? I don't know. I don't get it. Geico admits fraudsters stole customers' driver's license numbers for months. You do know that your driver's license is pretty much the number you're given, the state you're given is pretty much for life. The driver's license number I got when I was 16 years old in Michigan. And then I went 35 years without having a Michigan driver's license. And when I reapplied for a Michigan driver's license, I got the same number that I did when I was 16 years old. Now, how's that? I don't know how's that. But I knew the number. So it was one of those quirky things, the weird things you remember. I remember that license, driver's license number. The one I had in Hawaii, I had no idea what the number was. But for some reason, I could always remember the Michigan driver's license number. So when I got that new driver's license 35 years later, I looked at him like, you've got to be kidding me. And I self-doubted myself for a little bit until I went to a scrapbook I had and found my original driver's license that had a hole cut in it. And sure enough, the numbers matched. So if Geico has admitted that fraudsters stole customers' driver's license numbers, are states now going to have to reissue our numbers? Because guess what they can do with our driver's license numbers? Driver's license numbers coupled with address, coupled with a social security number and your date of birth, they can apply for unemployment benefits and all other kinds of crazy things. Geico. Shame on you. I have a Geico account, so I guess my driver's license number is now compromised, amongst other things. IBM has beat across-the-board post-revenue growth after 4 quarters of declines. The company announced acquisitions of 2 cloud consulting firms in the quarter. Shares were up 4%. Here's how the company did. Earnings $1.77 per share, adjusted versus $1.63. Revenue of $17.73 billion versus $17.35 billion. Revenue grew by 0.9% on an annualized basis in the quarter, compared with a 6% decrease in the prior quarter, according to the statement. So, Big Blue continues to do what Big Blue does. Toyota's first electric vehicle will hit the road in 2022, the BZ4X, the first of 7 Beyond Zero EV total EVs Toyota plans to release by 2025. And this thing looks competitive. It looks pretty nice. So, of the trio that it announced, 2 would be fully electric models, while 1 would be a plug-in hybrid. The automakers now detailed a broader EV vision as it tries to become carbon neutral by 2050. Toyota is really behind. It really, really is. So this new one, actually, this small SUV, it looks like, small size SUV, looks pretty nice. And I don't know what it's going to cost, but I know many of you are Toyota fans. I'm probably going to continue to be in a Ford for a significant amount of time. But Toyota's first EV coming to the United States soon. Okay, don't need that. That's a duplicate article. This is an interesting article. New York has capped the cost of broadband for low-income families. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has signed a bill requiring all internet service providers to offer $15 per month broadband for low-income users, as Bloomberg has reported. That will significantly lower the price for over 7 million people and 2.7 million households who qualify, as the current average monthly price is $50. ISPs must provide at least 25 megs down of the current low-income internet speeds. ISPs must provide at least 25 MPS download speeds or their current low-income internet speeds if those are greater. In centers like New York City, where speeds tend to be faster, the bill caps the price of high-speed broadband over 200 megs at $20 per month for low-income people. The 25 megabit per second figure is what the FCC has defined as broadband since 2015. On top of the low-income household cap, the state launched the Affordable Broadband Portal to help residents find cheaper internet in the area. Cuomo also announced partnership with former Google CEO Eric Schmidt to provide free internet to around 50,000 students in economically disadvantaged school districts. ISPs have 60 days to implement the new pricing. Now, it doesn't say who qualifies for this. So I don't know where the age cutoff is. For those of you that live in New York, you'll have to look into this. But $15 per month, that's a bargain. I look at my internet. Of course, I'm a business, so I'm paying business rates. But that I don't get 25 down, and I'm paying $80 for it. Actually, almost 90 after tax. Microsoft Edge is getting it, not here, but at the house. Here, my bill's close to $200. Microsoft Edge is getting a performance mode to improve RAM, CPU, and battery usage. So they're testing out this new performance mode. The new mode is available for some testers using the Microsoft Edge Canary version of the browser. Does anybody do beta testing on the Edge? So this may prove good for CPU usage and battery life on Chromebooks. No, excuse me. On proving on Chrome performance, not Chromebooks. Yep, I'm running out of gas. I'm sorry. Let's see here. We already talked about Clubhouse getting the new round of funding. Also, interesting from WordPress. WordPress is going to treat Google's new FLOC, called Flock, as a security concern. Google's new Flock tracking technology as a security concern. WordPress announced that it plan on treating Google's new Flock tracking technology as a security concern to block it by default on WordPress sites. WordPress has joined the growing list of creators of browsers and search engines that refuse to implement Google's Flock in their content. He says there's a proposal on WordPress.org titled "Treat Flock as a Terrible Idea," which notes that placing people in groups based on their browsing habit is likely to facilitate employment, housing, and other types of discrimination, as well as predatory targeting of unsophisticated consumers. And with WordPress having 41% of the web, I think that this will be a very, very big impact against Google. As our writer has done, Jen, she says, personally, I like that WordPress is interested in protecting its users from Google's Flock. I've been using WordPress for my personal blog for years. It's really nice to know that WordPress has taken the preemptive steps to ensure Google cannot inflict Flock on WordPress sites. So that's Jen weighing in on the article on Geek News Central. So if you want to take a look at that, all you got to do is go over to the website. It's the lead story up there right now. All right. Apple's co-founder and PostScript co-creator Charles Geschke is dead at 81. Mathematician and massive figure in digital publishing, lives on in every PDF. So Adobe said, we're deeply saddened to share that our beloved co-founder, Dr. Chuck Geschke, has passed away. Chuck was a hero and guiding light for so many of us in the technology industry. He leaves an incredible mark on our company and the world. So 81. Doesn't say what he died from. But I think every time I open PDFs daily, and it's got his fingerprints on it. So quite a legacy there. Here's a new one. Sony's Flavor Graph uses artificial intelligence to predict which ingredients will pair together. It combines information about flavors, molecules, and recipes from the past. So this is interesting. AI has gone into games, self-driving, and other areas with mixed success, and now is trying its hand at cooking. Sony has developed a deep learning system called Flavor Graph used to pair up ingredients like garlic, olives, and milk. I'm not an olive fan at all. But if you're a foodie, you can check this out. But it is known the researchers didn't yet discover anything extraordinary, citing caviar and white chocolate as an example of that. But the Flavor Graph is a starting point. As the science develops and we get even better representation of food, we should discover more and more intriguing pairings of ingredients, as well as new substitutes for ingredients that are either unhealthy or unsustainable, the team wrote. So salt and pepper on my steak only. Okay, that's all you need. And sometimes just pepper and not much salt, just a dash. So South Korea Telecom SKT is linked up with Yongin Severance Hospital to commercialize and deploy facility roaming robots that minimize the need for face-to-face contact, thus supporting reduced COVID transmission. So this thing's going to walk around and check on you, or roll around and check on you. And they're using 5G to do that. But a lot of hospitals are using robots where you just basically talk to another human on a computer screen. So anyway, a little kind of a tidbit for the end of the show. All right, I'm going to double check, see what we've got. Do we have anything come in for email? And let me click on that. And bada bing, bada boom. I think that's all I've got for you. There's no email that has come in. So geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, where you can air your grievances, loves, hates, everything else. I did not get the first edition of the Insider recorded this weekend. I didn't even come well, I came and took care of the cats Sunday morning. I couldn't leave them 2 days in a row, so I came by and seen them, but I did not stay at the office long enough to let them run around, get petted, combed them a little bit, cleaned out their dishes, scooped out the you know what, and anyway, they're happy tonight. There's one laying here right beside me. He knows that I'm going to finish up soon. He's going to have to go to the kitchen. That's where they stay when I'm not here. But other than that, everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. Thanks for watching live. Everyone that's been on, some of you anonymously, that's okay. But I'm going to bada bing, bada boom, and get out of here. It's been my pleasure to bring the show this afternoon or this evening. It's actually this evening. It's 8 o'clock. But everyone, take care. We'll see you next time here in the Geek News Central podcast. Be safe. Take care of your families, friends, and family members. I'll be back here on Thursday with you. Take care. Bye-bye.